Take a million. Welcome to episode 1 of the This Is Why We Work podcast. I am Sean Rowe. This is my co-host.
My name is Mark. It's good.
We are a podcast of movies, media, TV shows, maybe a movie theater. You don't know what's about to come. Feel me? Miscellaneous entertainment. I'm gonna work in some music as the musician, so that's how we're gonna work it. Yeah, man, it's been a long time. See, we ain't even about to cut that because we that real. For me, we so real. This podcast has been a long time in the making. Just like every other basic nigga, basic person. In case you can't say nigga. We had conversations. They were good conversations, and we was like, bro, we got to start a podcast. Actually, other people. You feel me? Other people actually really encouraged us to start a podcast.
Okay.
You know, sometimes you just kind of gotta go with your calling, and we're gonna see if this is the calling. We on FaceTime right now. We see if we upgraded to a regular call. So I don't even know what to tell y'all, man. I don't even know what to tell y'all. We about to have fun. Speak again, Mark.
Oh, I said we here, bro.
Oh yeah. I do, you know, for me as the host, I have to make sure your levels is right, all the audio and all that. Yeah. So I mean, we don't really got to do too many formalities. We can kind of get it out the way. Y'all already know the vibes. We here to have a good time. We about to, feel me? Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. We playing the YouTube game. You already know, man. You feel me? Come up.
Especially the likes, bro, because it helps the algorithm.
Stay down till you come up. If you feel me, like that feeling of discovering an artist before they blow up, you have double the chance. You know why? Because it's me right here, right, and then you have the podcast right here. I can't cut you a better deal. For me, I cannot cut you a better deal. For me, we would like to be very interactive with this. So if you have shows, movies, or whatever that you want to be reviewed, comment that. You could DM me on Instagram or TikTok, whatever. All my social media is at the real Sean Bro.
Yeah, and follow the podcast, Instagram, at
TikTok,
This Is Why We Work, TikTok, all that. Feel me? Yeah, we're gonna be interactive on there as well.
This is what we're coming. Never Hollywood. That's just how we go. But a little background about me. I guess you can have a little understanding of where I'm coming from when I'm speaking on topics and things like that. I don't really like whiny people who don't really like have anything that makes sense to say. So you're gonna notice that in my takes and everything that we talk about. If you just like are whining and you're like, oh, but I feel this way, bro, I don't care. I ain't even gonna lie. Now that's not to be dismissive, because if you have feelings and you actually have a reason for why you feel the way that you feel, for me, like that's fine. Or if you don't really have a reason, just be like, hey, bro, I don't have a reason for this. I just feel that way. And then it makes sense. Now we can feel me. But don't try to, like, people often try to voice opinions as fact. And y'all be losing me with that. Y'all be losing me bad. I mean, it's not a fact, bro. And I really don't care about your feelings. For me. But I'm grounded again. I'm grounded. I also did go to school for film and TV. So if I come off sometimes as a little bit of a film snob, that might be why. You could let me know though. I ain't gonna lie. They can tell me I'm ODing. I probably won't be, because I don't be ODing. Feel me? I dead don't be ODing. But feel me, if it is a case where it's just like, all right. But we here for the people, man. I'm just a man of the people. I'm here to serve, man. That's what we do. I mean, unless you're white, then I'm not here to serve you. But I'm here. Just enjoy the podcast. Not that I was gonna say it was gonna be a pleasant thing. Oh, it was about to sound. It was gonna be gross. Feel me? It was gonna be gross. Feel me?
You gotta get nasty sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta let them know, man. I'm not serving nobody. But now we here, man. We here for everybody too. This is an inclusive podcast, so all that weird alpha male shit, that shit is out of here. So do whatever you need to do. Click out. Leave a like though before you leave. Click out. Or you can hate watch. I like that. You can hate watch me.
Hate watching is good too.
Yeah, hate watch me. Us.
Yeah. As for me, you know, I'm just like a real big film enjoyer. Like movies, like TV shows too.
You said
minor, huh?
You so good for that.
Had a minor in cinema studies, my last 2 years of college. Um, and I hope to go um get my master's for film production soon. So yeah, this is what I like to talk about, this is what I like to do. So we're just gonna have a lot of fun, man. I'm excited.
I was about to say I hope to go pro.
Yeah,
All right, man. Shout out to y'all. First up on the docket, we going into a little bit of current events. The window, is it Wendell or Wendell? Wendell and Wild. We just gonna go with that.
I think it's Wendell.
Yeah, Wendell and Wild, man. Your cousin back at it again. Does
Yeah,
he miss?
he does not.
This is Key and Peele together, right?
Yeah,
That's
they're
it.
acting in it. I think Jordan Peele produced it as well. It's directed by Henry Selick, the director of The Nightmare Before Christmas, Coraline, and things of that nature. Um, it stars a black girl with big puffs in her hair, which is amazing, and it's in stop motion, which is even cooler because we're big animation fans up here, and I think stop motion is one of the better uses of that medium. And I especially like that it stars a black girl because a couple years back, Tim Burton, he's like the king of stop motion, you know. Um, yeah, whatever. He he was getting backlash for like the lack of diversity in his films, and he basically just like doubled down and was like, sometimes things call for it and sometimes things doesn't, and then he tried to use black exploitation films as a cover up, or like I never watch black exploitation films and ask why there isn't a white person in this movie. He didn't feel that black people like fit his aesthetic. So I'm glad that Henry Selick and Jordan Peele come together to create a stop motion animation movie starring some black people. So yeah.
For sure, because that nigga there, I don't know what you mean. Like people don't fit your aesthetic. Like what are we talking about? This is anyway.
Yeah, it's weird.
Feel me? I am, I'm a firm believer in we need to highlight the good more than we antagonize the bad because bro, we just making the bad just go viral all the time. All the time, always reacting, always because I get it because there's a fine balance that you need to find in order to I guess because part of it is like, all right, you want to educate people and you want to make people know that this is not okay. But I guess just as much as we do that, I know more than we do that, we need to highlight the good. Because every time you react to something that is negative, like the saying is, no publicity is bad publicity. Every time you react, it only gets more attention. You know what I mean? So we blowing that up, and the things that go unnoticed are the amazing things that people are asking for because nobody is reacting to it because it's not like some clickbait. It's not just like inflammatory to rile you up. So we got to highlight the things like this, and I think that's why it's a beautiful thing that all of these movies, all of these movies, bro, Get Out, Behind You, Nope, all of it, man. Let's highlight the amazing things that we always asking for, as opposed to only complaining about the things that we don't like. That's how we really gonna get things to flow into motion. But you can't always just be complaining. You got to be active. Don't only talk about it. Be about it.
Facts.
As for the animation thing, we will have an episode about how much I love animation because I think it's a better medium. People always say that if it's a cartoon, it's for kids. That's stupid as hell. But that's okay because maybe you didn't know that what you said was stupid. So you come back for that episode and we will educate you on why that is so stupid.
Oh gosh.
Come on, man. We gotta expand. We gotta expand. For me, to my
Facts.
people who don't know yet, come open minded and learn. That's how we gonna get that off.
Word.
And I'm leading with a lot of grace right now, so that like I don't have to lead. Well, I'm gonna lead with grace, but I'm leading with a lot of grace right now, and I'm feel me setting the tone right now, so y'all know that I am genuine and I really fuck with y'all because I'm not gonna be one of those people who always preface every single sentence. Like for me, I'm not gonna because people like on TikTok and they be like, yo, no hate to the creator. Like, bro, I'm just not going to hate. Like, I'm not about to say like, yo, no hate, blah, 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 and I don't need people to get all in their feelings. Like, bro, everything I say is for the hope of educating and stuff like that. And if it's not that, I'll let you know, bro. I don't have my feelings. I ain't gonna lie, I don't hide what I think. So yeah. Yeah, it looks amazing though, man. Black lead,
Yeah, I'm happy.
black woman lead.
Word.
I mean,
She
shout
has
out to little black.
big puffs in her hair. It's cool.
Feel me?
Yeah, there's not a lot of stop animation with us represented. So like I can't really think of one offhand.
Damn,
I can't
off
think of
top.
one. Yeah,
Yeah,
off top I can't. So, shout out to Henry Selick, man. These films are great. I'm excited for this.
yes,
Comes
sir.
out, I think the end of October. So, and it's a spooky movie for spooky season. So,
Yo, hold on, I don't even know what I got mad mugs ready for the Halloween season. This is my favorite season in terms of like a holiday,
oh yeah,
like a
I've
holiday
already
season.
I've already made my list for the 31 movies I'm watching.
Yeah,
It's go time, bro.
yeah, send me that.
I got you. It's go time.
Feel me? In other news, there's been a lot of press around Don't Worry, Darling. This is
Yeah.
this is probably it is definitely one of the most anticipated movies of this year. But I think at this point, out of movies that haven't come out yet, it is the most anticipated.
Comes out what's today? I don't even know today's date.
Today's the 13th.
Okay, yeah, it comes out in the 23rd. So
We got 10 days.
2 weeks, right? A week and a half.
Yeah.
Yes.
For me, so from all of the reviews, and things do get reviewed wrong, right? We are very aware that that is very much a possibility. From all of the reviews so far, so that is at a whopping 39%.
But it went up. It went up. It went up.
Oh, it went up.
It went
Up to 4. Is that 46?
Okay, so
It started at 39.
the first day that people were able to go see it, I think at TIFF, TIFF is going on. So I think the people are seeing it at the TIFF festival. It had a 9% on Rotten
Yeah,
Tomatoes.
it started at 39.
It went up the next day to 46, but today it's at a 41. So my initial reaction, and I told Sean this, is that the movie is probably getting review bombed because of all the like negativity surrounding its release and Olivia Wilde and Harry Styles and whatnot. But then I got to read it. Like I don't normally like reading reviews before I go watch a movie, but I was just curious to see like if there was any merit to a lot of the criticism that the movie is getting. So Rotten Tomatoes, it's not, oh, the movie is like people are rating it a 4 out of 10. It's how many people are giving it positive reviews. So only 41% of the viewers have given it positive reviews so far. And then I went to go look at like the grade. They were giving it like 3 out of 5s and 2.5 out of 5. So like even like the positive reviews aren't like overwhelmingly positive, which is like making me nervous. But I also can see how a movie like this flops because it makes me think to some like Last Night in Soho that didn't really do it for me. The Suspiria remake, just like movies like with a lot of potential that don't really like necessarily land, but I haven't seen it yet, so I'm holding out hope that I'll still enjoy it personally, but we'll see.
I mean, I don't know. I haven't really this isn't one of the movies that I've been really anticipating. I mean, I haven't been sitting down like, like, because I mean, I'm not a huge fan of Harry Styles. That's number one. So like, it's like him acting it's not really doing anything for me. I'm not like, oh, let me see him act now. But Florence Pugh, I have over the last year, I have been like pulled into the Florence Pugh fan club. So that is something. But here's the thing. We were having a conversation and you were telling me that Harry Styles hasn't really gotten an opportunity to like really just act, right? And this is like his real like big opportunity. Next to Florence Pugh, that's tough. That's tough. And I've seen some of the reviews have been like he was but like Florence Pugh makes it kind of like it really highlights how he was because it's just like she's acting her ass off as she usually does. It's hard, bro. You can get circles after
because it's crazy because like a clip, so like a lot of the original trailers that were coming out, you couldn't really tell if Harry Styles like was giving a good performance or not because it's like not a lot of his lines are there and he's just a trailer. But then like a clip surfaced of a conversation between his character and Florence Pugh's character, and it's like, dude, like your line delivery is not like there.
So,
So then he has his new movie coming out too, My Policeman,
mhm.
and again a clip surfaced, and he can't act, and I mean, and I'm not one to keep people in a box.
Mhm.
Like you can like go and venture out into different things,
Mhm.
but like do things that you're good at. Like try, but then once it doesn't really work out, like, because I mean, he acted in Dunkirk, and I'll say he's a good physical like actor because he didn't have a lot of lines in that movie.
Makes
Because
sense. Performance.
generally there wasn't a lot of dialogue in the movie to begin with, because it wasn't about that. But like movies that are character driven, I don't know if it'll be the best at because
I mean, I get you. I get you. Try. I agree. Try things. Work really hard to improve if you're not good at those things. Now, the physical acting thing actually makes a lot of sense to me because as a performer, right,
yeah,
myself, like that's like a very transferable skill because you have to convey whatever emotions are coming out of the song while you're on stage. If you want to put on like a performance, a lot of people are trash. Um, yeah, man, I'll be watching. That's why a lot of people, a lot of artists, I like their music, but I would never pay for a show because it's just like I don't want you to stand there in this little corner and just kind of rap the song. Like I don't care about that. Perform, like you on
I'll
stage,
just
perform.
listen to your music.
But yeah, for sure. Like I can just do that for free at the crib,
Yeah,
perform. And I'm not fanned out, so I'm not like, oh my god, this celebrity person. Like, nah, bro, chill. But yeah, that's definitely a transferable skill. That's why a lot of it make like that's a big crossover, like music and
yeah,
acting. People do that a lot, like a lot.
and some are good and some aren't, and I think Harry is one of those people that aren't.
He's a very successful musician, man. It's okay. He'll be fine
He will.
financially.
He's, and like it's at the point like he's not gonna stop. Like he's gonna keep going.
I mean, I guess
Because
that's good.
if there's an Eternals 2, he'll be in it. So that's a big if though.
That
But
is a big if. Um,
it's
Chloe
like
Zhao is directing the Eternal.
she did direct the Eternals.
Um,
Oh, she's
she
gonna
should
direct too.
she should drop the Eternals project, but direct another movie.
For sure.
But I mean,
I haven't seen Nomadland, what she won an
yeah.
Oscar for, but I'm sure it was well deserved. Shout out to Chloe Zhao.
Shout out people of color. Um, now, don't worry, darling. I guess we'll just see. I'm ready for.
I am gonna see the movie.
Yeah, I'm ready to just watch it and see just what it is. Because at the end of the day, you gotta watch it yourself and form your own opinion. I really don't even like if it wasn't for the podcast, I probably wouldn't even look too much into like early reviews and stuff like that. Like, but it's kind of comes with the territory of the job. But I like to watch things and form my own opinion. So
Yeah.
that we will do.
Yep.
Moving on to musicians that are transitioning to acting. Now, this is somebody who I think is just an overall great personality. A lot of people like just the things he does outside of music more than his music. I don't agree with that. I'm a big fan of his music, but I think he's amazing.
As am I.
Feel me? I think he's amazing at those other things too. So I get it though. I get it. That is Mr. Vince Staples. That's one of my favorite artists. I ain't even gonna lie.
Mine as
He
well.
be talking that shit. So his show, the Vince Staples show, is being picked up by Netflix. That I'm very, very excited for. Very, very excited for. When you watch his interviews, he even had a web series that was good actually. It was only like he only put out like 3 episodes or something like that. But it was good and it was very short. It was like 2 minutes. And it was just very interesting. And the show is set to be loosely based on his life. We don't really have a release date or anything yet, but I'm very excited. His personality is one that deserves to be on whatever platform. I'm not gonna lie. If he's transitioning into something and it's to show what he can do as just like a personality, I'm in. I'm all in.
Max. Yeah. Yeah, it's like it appears to be like a coming of age, little comedy show. So I'm very excited. Kenya Barris is attached to the project, which is like a little like, but I think
You didn't like everything ish.
no, not at all.
Now that I feel you though. That did make me that is cause to pause. But I'm not gonna lie. I don't think I've seen anything that Vince Staples was a part of that I felt like wasn't true to him.
Yeah.
His track record shows that he's not doing things that he can't do his own thing. Like he doesn't have some sort of creative control and is gonna like go his way. So I'm still excited.
Barris is gonna act in the show too. So
Act.
Yeah.
Hey man, here's the second chances.
Shout out Vince though, bro. I'm very very excited.
Yeah, that's something I aspire to do actually. I think about that a lot because one, he can just kind of produce the music for his own show, so that's kind of an easy thing.
I didn't even think of that. The soundtrack for that show is going to be
hard. So that's a layup. So I mean, like I've done little things like I've made some songs for like documentaries and stuff like that, and it's been interesting because for other people you like have to like do like a deep dive and kind of like a study of what their life is, because you need to capture the essence of whatever the documentary or the project or whatever is about from the music. So you guys have to sit down and really try to understand these people. When you're doing it for yourself, you just going off of filming. Like you don't have to rehearse. You don't have to read about your life. Like it's me. Like, I'm here. So I'm definitely interested in doing that. That's kind of how I approach my music videos for the time being. Like I sit down and try to like direct it as if they are kind of like short films. I think I'm a narrative guy. I like to tell stories. What can I say? So shout out to Vince, man. That's definitely a fantastic feat and adventure.
Definitely gonna be looking out for that, bro.
Hopefully they don't try to review about my nigga. Last point for current events and news. Halle Bailey. I almost said Barry. And
making that mistake.
Yeah, it just rolls off the tongue.
Yeah,
it really does.
Halle B. So
yeah, feel me? But she is the Little Mermaid. Everybody waiting. You mad? You mad? I don't know why there are so many like scientists, quote unquote, now that are telling me that it's unrealistic for a mermaid to be black. Like, why y'all bringing race into everything? That's that. What happened? I thought everything wasn't about race. Now you mad?
It's a mermaid. They don't exist.
I mean,
I mean, they could.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
But like, come on. Yo, bro, the trailer has
sun under the water.
Guess how many dislikes this trailer has on YouTube?
How many views is it? So I can know.
It has 12 million views. It's 46 on trending right now.
How many dislikes? 200,000.
No.
Higher?
Not even close.
5 million?
No, okay.
All right, I tried.
bro.
Like a million though?
1.5 million dislikes, bro.
Shout out to the haters.
And my thing is, right, people like to do the, I just want to say, first I want to preface this. Am I the biggest fan of like Black actors and actresses taking on roles that aren't historically Black? Not really. But do I care? No. Like I feel like we should have like our own characters. Like that's why everybody loves Princess Tiana so much. And there's a lot of that comparison where it's like, oh, if Disney casted a white woman as Tiana, Black people would throw a fit. And it's like, well, yeah, because the purpose of her character is because she's Black. And like white people historically have never had to fight for representation. So a lot of it is, oh, I feel represented by Ariel. It's like, bro, pick the other
million.
millions of characters that are white. Like I don't, and everybody's like, oh, it's not about skin, but it is though. And when we complain about diversity in films, it's always why everything got to be about race. So like, why does everything have to be about race now?
You know, that is the thing about having an argument that's not really concrete. You want flip flop because I'm not gonna lie. I don't care if the character is purple if her character has nothing to do with that, like nothing to do with her race. If the character is not tied into a race, then you can cast them as any race you cannot imagine. I don't. We're talking about mermaids. We're talking about mermaids, and like the character is she fits the criteria. You want uh Ariel's supposed to be a beautiful girl who can sing extremely well, right? Obviously, there's more to her character, but I think boxes checked. We haven't watched the movie, so we don't know what other boxes are going to be checked. But I saw all those TikToks of all little black girls, man, and they were so excited that
Making my
she
heart
looked like
happy,
her.
bro.
Like, if you don't like that, bro, I ain't even gonna lie. You got a different type of.
There was a funny TikTok where there's a little white girl reacted to it, and she was like, "Is that Whitney Houston?"
We just gonna take that as a compliment.
I was like, bro, I was scared, bro. I'm like, what is she gonna say? That took me out, bro. Like, took me out. I also saw a TikTok of this black woman today, like doing the whole like, oh, y'all would be mad if Tiana, and it's just a bunch of white people with American flags in their profile pictures saying thank you. And like, if you got those people agreeing with you, I don't really know if
I do that actually. I do that. Depending on like if I say something and depending on who be agreeing with me,
like, bro, that's how you judge whether or not your opinion is true is good, bro. Bro, like, I don't know, it's just weird, man. Like I would prefer if we got a new black princess. Like
pause right there was crazy. We got a new black, it's crazy.
If we got a new black princess, bro, new black character, like I'm always advocating new black characters. Like when they would do when they would do putting Michael B. Jordan in the Superman costume, I'm like, dude.
No, but in all fairness though, there are black like Superman. So.
Sure. There's a black green.
Because Superman is just the mental.
Yeah. But like
but I'm with you though.
Yeah, like it feels like a hand me down. In a way.
I mean,
I also don't remember if Will Smith was getting these.
What?
He played Genie, and Genie was Robin Williams. So
yeah, I don't know about that. I also didn't really want that though.
I didn't. I'm all for stop Disney live action remakes.
Yeah, they don't.
I'm top like we don't. It's not necessary. Like Pinocchio just came out this past week. Heard it was awful.
They never delivered.
Obviously, there hasn't been a good one.
Which is why animation is better.
That's not. It's not true. There's been okay ones. Like I think Maleficent. That's her name, Angelina Jolie. And I think.
Yeah. I forgot about that.
And the Cinderella movie was cool, and Beauty and the Beast was cool too. But the rest of them, like, like Mulan, The Lion King, like we don't need them. And Barry Jenkins is doing a Lion King prequel for some reason.
About Mufasa.
Like
not Scar. We have everything we need on Mufasa. His character was something that we didn't need a prequel for.
Perfect. But
I agree with all those points. And like I said, that is why animation is so much better. Bro, how do you get the same emotion on a real lion? Even though that's obviously that's CGI, but still, from you trying to make it as realistic as possible, you're not gonna get the same emotion and reaction. It doesn't make sense. Right? There are things that the human performance is limited by that you don't necessarily have those same limits on.
I think just reality too, like
like these are fairy tale fictional stories, and some of that needs to stay closer to the realm of fiction. Not everything needs to be like, oh, what if this was a real person? Bro,
Yeah.
I know Pinocchio wanted to be a real boy, but relax. All right, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Take that
It's
for
like
shot.
let's like Hollywood is lazy. Like let's come up with new stories, guys.
It's like a factory. It's like an assembly line. They just pumping out whatever could get them enough money, and that's because one, capitalism. Two, we need to hold these people accountable, man. And I think like number one, I mean, I'm gonna support this because I'm supporting everybody black, like society. You know?
This is like I haven't seen many of the live action Disney remakes because I don't feel like it's necessary. Like even with the Lion King, I just watched what's that song with Simba and Nala? Whatever that song is. I just watched Beyonce. I just watched Beyonce and Childish Gambino sing it on YouTube. I did not watch that movie. It's unnecessary. Like like if you have the two options of watching the original animated Lion King or the live action Lion King, you're choosing the animated Lion King 9 times.
A million times.
Yeah, that. So like, I don't know, man. I'm gonna watch this one. No, shout out Halle Bailey.
Yes, sir.
They also need to fix some of the lighting, but
we're gonna do that. And shout out to the black people, man.
Word.
And if you think we're not chatting, like, comment, subscribe. If you think we are chatting, like, comment, subscribe. Show that love, man. Don't be stingy. That ain't about nothing.
Word.
Love is free.
1.5 million dislikes is insane, though. Like it was never that serious, like ever.
Now for one of the worst takes I have ever heard. I hate this take.
Wait, let me just do this. Ooh, I was scrolling through Twitter one day, just doing the old good old Twitter, scroll, and I saw a video of Quentin Tarantino pop up, and it was used as a quote tweet to another tweet. So I watched Tarantino's clip first, and it was basically like an interview of this woman complaining. I think she was like a film critic or something. She was like, "Oh, like why does your movies always have to be like all violent and stuff?" And Tarantino's like, just because it's fun, like literally, like it's fun. So the tweet that it was quoted was this woman went on this long Twitter thread about what's the point of making art that's mean, cynical, and hopeless right now. And I just basically wanted to answer that on the pod while also dissecting this thread because yeah, it's a really bad take. So floor is yours, my brother.
I hate the take. Where do I begin? I guess let me begin at the beginning, right? What does that mean? Like, I know what that means, but what does that mean, bro? Because when you say what is the point, and we speaking about art, like what is the point of doing a specific type of art? That sounds to me already like a contradiction.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean with
what's
expression?
The point of what's the point of doing anything?
Exactly. Like when we say shit like that, it's just like, okay, bro, like, all right, bro. Like that, I don't even know what to say about that, bro, right? So we already starting at a bad place to me. We already not really making much sense to me. Now, she went on to really speak about being like, actually, I'm gonna answer the question before there's a lot of thoughts that's coming in my brain. I'm gonna answer the question. Bro, what's the point of making art that's mean, cynical, hopeless right now? First of all, when you say right now, what do we mean? Are we talking about like the state of the country, the world, right? Now, it's a very self-centered thing of you to say because you're presuming that your experience is the experience of the majority, right? Because when you say right now, like my life has always been mean, cynical, and hopeless. Like, what are we talking about? Like that is the life that I've been experiencing. I don't know if we're talking about this time in the world, this time in the country. I don't know what we're talking about, but that has been my existence.
I can infer she means right now with like the word like COVID, we still what is it, year 3?
Mhm.
Monkeypox going around now. So things aren't the greatest.
And I understand. I
Yeah.
understand. But things I haven't I can't remember a time where things were the greatest for me. So if that is the reflection, then that's what I'm gonna do. I have a different perspective. So the point is because it is self-expression and that is reflective of my truth. That's what I'm gonna do. Being an artist and trying to like box in other artists based on just what you want is insane to me.
Yeah.
Like insane.
It's nuts. And like
That's my
art
story.
art art is like inherently cynical. Like the point of making art is not for me to, oh, this is what uh like this is what an audience will like. Like artists don't make art for the consumers. They make art from them for themselves first. And like we've seen times where like there are examples of like film, TV, art, whatever kind of art, music, that you could tell it isn't coming from like a sincere place. And it is made like for consumers and oftentimes it isn't really that well received. Um so yeah, like the initial question, what's the point of making art that's me? It's like really weird and in itself is a cynical question to ask. And then she goes on to continue to be like, well, I don't want this, and I think artists should do this, and I think artists should not do this. When it's like already you just
It's good for you. It's good for you. And as an artist, you have the right to make whatever art you want to make. That's fine. Like, I don't even hate the idea of her being like, listen, I want to make this type of art. I don't know. I just feel like there's a lot of art that is like this. This is true to me. That's fine, but what are we talking about? What is the point? Like, what? It's not making sense. And then she also went on to say that she would prefer to make art that is cringily sincere rather than cleverly nihilistic. Bold of you, presume.
and
Like,
the crazy part about that is like she says that, then right under she uses everything everywhere all at once as an example, which in it that movie is entirely nihilistic. It questions the point of life itself. Um, while also being sincere, and not she calls the movie like cringe, which like that's not a that word has a negative connotation.
I mean, like from me reading it, I feel like that's like she was kind of trying to say like people negatively look at positively, not positively. People negatively look at positive things. Uh, so like if it's positive, people would just kind of call it cringy. If I want to shoot her some
But
down, I
nobody, but
think that
no,
is.
yeah, but nobody says that about that movie.
Listen,
Like I
listen.
just think like it's a bubble.
It has to be a bubble, and it's insane because when we speak about sincerity, like when I make art, whether that be like me writing treatments and trying to do these music videos or me actually writing these songs, I'm as sincere as it gets. I'm speaking from my perspective. I'm speaking about my own personal life. There's not like there isn't a time where I'm sitting down like, oh, let me try to be cringy and clever. Like, bro, I'm not trying to be clever about this in terms of like what kind of perspective I'm putting out. Like, I have
Yeah.
a I this is I have so many lines, but it's like when I think about for example, right, the way I open songs, she would probably hate because I usually open songs with a line that is thought provoking and it is kind of hopeless. But then again, that's up to you to interpret whether or not it's hopeless or is it hopeful. Um,
Mm.
because like for one song called Intermission, I'll start and I'll be like, I said, would you still love me if you knew the things that still corrupt me, murders and violence, all the white noise I needed was sirens. Like she would hate that because it's like, oh no, we should be positive. Like, what do you want me to say? What do you want me to say about that? If I come from an environment and that's what the environment was, then it is what it is, and that's my art. And the people who come from those environments, they're gonna feel me, and they're gonna feel that. And even if you didn't come from those environments, you can still consume that, and you can still enjoy consuming it, and you can try to get an understanding that because that's what it is for. You don't. It
Yeah,
doesn't even make sense.
yeah, I think it's incredibly like wild to assume that art that is like foundationally negative is insincere. Like that's just kind of weird. Like I don't know,
Lucky you.
like people don't want to feel the ways that they feel. Um like and it made me think about how I've like reacted to certain art. Um because like when I was going through this thread, like Lars von Trier immediately came to my mind because you can like define his movies as like hopeless, nihilistic, cynical. And I'm not a big fan of his work. And I wanted to know like, well, is it because of that? Like, is that the reason why I don't like the movies? But then, I have like other instances where there are movies that fit the description that I absolutely adore. So like, I don't know. I just think there was no like nuance in her like assessment in art that is not overwhelmingly positive.
I think it's weird because a lot of artists will tell you like the greatest art comes from the worst times. Like that's why I'm very confused at like an artist speaking from that perspective because even if your art doesn't necessarily come from the worst times, as an artist, I feel like you should have an understanding of that. That is a widely popular thing. Like that's so much of what art is, like you said, bro. Like it comes from if it comes from the heart, that is the reality. We are living in a rough times. It's funny because it's like right now, like when we speak about right now, what's going on, the reason why the art would be like that is because it is reflective of the times. Like I don't, it's not really making sense to me. She also said, we are desperately in need of art that speaks to cringy, weird, vulnerable, oh no, that speaks to the cringy, weird, vulnerable, gorgeous animals we are. And yo, bro, just that, like, if just that, it like you don't even have to finish some of these sentences to just. She starts contradicting herself so often because it's like, yeah, my my vulnerability doesn't have to be like a positive thing. I can be sincerely vulnerable, and that. So my question would be: is the positivity, is vulnerable positivity the only way, the only thing that makes us gorgeous animals?
It's a good
Because
question.
that's what she's saying. Like we have to be
Essentially.
true, and that's what we in need of, something that shows how gorgeous it is. Yeah, we're gorgeous because we overcome all of these terrible things. So my vulnerability would be coming from that. Like when I start my EP, I started off with the first thing you hear me say when my voice comes on is greatest bastard. No, my parents didn't want me. Been a stranger to this love. Everything was taken from me. That's peak vulnerability.
Yeah.
I don't know how much more vulnerable it gets, and just the idea of me being the greatest bastard, like the greatest of the people who was given up on by their parents. That shows the beauty. That shows what it means to be a gorgeous animal. That shows what it means to be a gorgeous human being.
Yeah.
Not me getting on there and faking it.
Yep.
What is there to fake? No, no, no. We speaking to truth. We speak the truth, and that is our job as artists.
And the biggest reason why her thread frustrated me is because like a broken clock is right. How many times a day? Twice? Like
Sure.
she said she like and I don't know how like this escaped her when writing the things that she's writing because she says that like in her art, like she struggles with cynicism and despair and
Mhm.
existentialism. And like, but she wants to show the transformative possibilities of those feelings, which is like perfectly okay. And I would say is a good way to approach the art that you want to make. But
Agreed.
to insinuate, I think that's a great, like, that's great. But to insinuate that other artists have to do the same things as you because they're insincere in wanting to put their pain into whatever art that they're making is kind of ridiculous, man. And I see, I don't know, like, there's like, and when you get like critiques of certain movies, this was just me. This was cruel. This is just like, I think of um like criticism of some like American Psycho. It's a movie about a
Mm.
white man just killing a bunch of women and people. And it's like, oh, this movie is bad because this, and this. But then you don't really like look underneath it. It's like it's a satire of like that rich culture back then and like how those kinds of people get away with doing the things that they want to do. So like I we got to read between a lot of the lines. Like it's not insincere to make art that's you know based fundamentally negative and comes from negative feelings. And I think that art attracts more people, to be honest. So
No, I 1,000% agree, man. She has good ideas.
yeah.
The good news is, nigga, you came a long way. The bad news is, nigga, you went the wrong way. So
Yeah,
I mean,
man.
I think this is an intelligent person. I think some more time should have been taken before tweeting this. That happens very often to a lot of people.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think some more time should have been taken because
If you want
as
to, if you want to say you don't enjoy that type of art, perfectly fine. But to ask what's the point of it, and then be like, you guys should be doing this.
it's a
It's like
disingenuous question.
it's very disingenuous.
And like she ended it to where like it confuses me because she said alternative artistic perspectives are not a delegitimization of your own practice or approach.
I don't know, man.
But
I
if I
don't
said
know,
that back
bro.
to you, what would you tell me if I said that back to
Right.
you? Like, I don't get it. She also spoke to individualism and like, I guess cynical art being something that goes against the collective liberation. Very untrue because
Right.
collectively we are living in despair. It
Right.
goes with the collective. It
But
is in
even, but
large
even,
support of the collective. Now that was directed towards people, and she said that from a culture that is deeply capitalistic and white supremacist. Now I don't know. Feel me? That smile, viewers tells me a lot. Um, but just in general, though, just that idea in general, still, it's not like it. That's not an idea that excludes anybody, right? The idea of what's the point of making cynical art? If if that goes with the collective, it goes with the collective. It doesn't matter like, what kind of it doesn't matter what kind of society and stuff you're from. I'm guessing at the point of this, because without speaking to somebody, all you can do is guess and infer. I'm guessing the point is to be like, maybe this is for people who are like, I guess like it would be like very niche, and it would, I guess it would be like, I'm trying to shoot some bail, right?
I try.
Bear with me.
Give me believe. I try. I don't spend a lot. Like when a Twitter thread gets me upset, I usually just leave. I spent like an hour just reading through this and like responses from other people, and like you know, I tried.
I because I'm trying to look at it and I'm like, maybe you taking us somewhere, and maybe it's like,
But the
well,
thing is, she kind of did.
yeah, but maybe you taking us somewhere that we need to go. Let me correct that because this is not. Because if we speaking to people when it's like, all right, bet, right? If you are somebody who has benefited from the privilege of capitalism and white privilege, right, and white supremacy, and you are making art that doesn't reflect you, and you are just like, all right, Black trauma porn. If that is what she's speaking about, I am with her 1,000,000%. 1,000,000%. Because that is something that is cynical, and it's not necessary, it's not needed. It actually, that fits perfectly with this description. It's actually disgusting, and it is for individualism. It's not for the collective liberation, because instead you should be telling positive Black stories, even if it's cringy. All right, now I'm there. I'm with her. She cooking. Nah, she cooking. She cooking. If that's that, hey man, if that is, see, but it's broadened. She broadened this so much that like that part
could get lost.
So hopefully that is what she's talking about in like specific, but just to say that, because she starts off speaking about art in general, and she only has a small portion that's speaking about like white supremacists and stuff like that. So your part about white supremacists is spot on. Let me say that.
And again, but the thing is, like, even if that's like, sure, that's true, that's still not the job of artists.
Very true. It's a niche. It's a very niche point. Like if there's a very niche, I guess, category that would make her right.
Yeah.
Very niche category that would make her right. It's very specific. It has to be very specific to make her point true. Now, outside of all of that, it's a garbage point.
Well, to answer her question,
respectfully,
you make that art because it's fun. How about that? And Everything Everywhere All at Once is a great movie that deals with nihilism, existentialism. It's cringe. I don't think it's cringe, but it's hilarious. Go watch it. And yeah.
I think she's like a video game designer or something. But hey, shout out to you. If you were to ever stumble upon this, and good luck on your art. But
keep making art that is transformative of the feelings that you feel. So
yeah, man. I mean, people make the art that is coming from you genuinely. That's how we knock all of this like just completely off the table, bro. Make the art that comes from your heart. It's hard because when we speak about business and making a living, like you kind of have to like do some things that make other people happy, but that can look very differently depending on the situation. Like you can still be true to who you are and keep your artistic authenticity while still kind of making it palatable for the overall. I think you can. I think you can, because all right, so let's say,
because all I have right now is examples of movies that fail because of being palatable. So
I think it's difficult. It's more difficult with movies than it probably is with music, because with music I start thinking about taking on a certain flow. But you can still kind of speak about things that you speak about. It depends. Like you just kind of like, it's a sweet spot. It's probably the hardest thing to find, but there's a sweet spot in terms of like what is good for your audience. Because that's the thing. You have to find your audience, number one, because you don't have to be for everybody. Whatever you make does not have to be for everybody. It just has to work with your audience.
Right.
So, I mean, if we speak about movies, you can pick up a certain subject but go about it. Like you can pick up a popular subject but go about it in the way that you want to go about it, and I think it can still be very successful.
Because like I'm thinking about like Black Klansman, for example.
So about Get Out.
But see, he with that movie, it would have been bad if he made it. I don't think he made it palatable. No. That is one of the first movies I've ever seen where every single white person in that movie was a villain. And that'd be tied to their race. And before Get Out, I didn't know that that was possible.
I was thinking, okay, you're right. I was thinking of it from a different perspective of like, like it could fit in the black trauma. Well, it's black trauma, but it's not black trauma porn.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it is that I was thinking about because
Yeah.
we've seen those stories be told a lot, but it ends up being something that's like,
Yeah, like Black Klansman is about the hold on. It's about the black police officer named Ron Stallworth who like pretended to be a part of the KKK, and like that movie didn't take it all the way how it could have and should have, um, especially because it tied in a Jewish plot subplot and like compared it to like the racism that black people deal with, and it's like,
it goes separate.
and then I think it's something like Queen and Slim, where at the end of the movie, the black people get killed by the cops because it's unrealistic for them to get away, and
Is that cynical for no reason? Would it be better to be cringeily sincere?
yes, yes,
So her point works very well with black trauma porn.
yeah, it does.
But nah, yeah, you're right. I maybe I was chatting. Maybe
I don't think you wasn't
I
chatting.
think it's possible though. I just
it is
can't think of
possible.
examples
It is possible. It is possible. But trying to make something rooted in something else and make it palatable, like making art specifically about the black experience and the troubles with the black experience, making that palatable to white audiences doesn't work. It never will work.
You know what I was thinking about? I guess I was thinking about more so like the elements that you put into a movie, for example. And it's like, all right, let's say movies that are like brighter, just in terms of like lighting, right? With brighter colors and things like that. Let's say generally they do better, right? You can like make your movie a brighter movie, right?
Oh, yeah.
Let's say you want to use the soundtrack, like you pick up some artists that that are popular artists, but you can put them in a position where they can show a side that they haven't really shown before, where they can tap into something that's like, say there's an artist who just makes music for fun, they don't really get into deeper topics, right? If you put them in a position to kind of get into deeper topics, but they still bring their like flair of like it kind of feeling like a hit almost, like I think that's a way that you can go about it. And now you have like popular lighting, you have a popular soundtrack, feel me? Things like that. I guess I'm speaking more to the elements, but like your movie still be authentic to what you want to make it. You know what I'm saying? I guess kind of like tricking kids into eating their vegetables is the way I like to kind of think about it. Because you just got to get really creative and just kind of add in things that people like. Like that's like when people clickbait things that are like we about to do. You know what I mean? Like we're gonna go through this in full transparency. Go through this, look at clips that most people would want to watch, just off of like, oh, like what if I clip this just like this? Would it get people hooked? But at the end of the day, this podcast is authentic and all these conversations are true to whatever we want to have it. But to get the general audience, you have to do certain things like your marketing strategy and all of that in order to get them to buy in. And then if you get them hooked, now you hear. I mean, now you got them hooked and that's what you want to do. Not necessarily like change the entire movie to make it more palatable.
Yeah.
Come on, man. It's about it's about doing your thing, man. At this point, it's almost by any means. Like, don't go too far. Don't go too extreme. But get as creative as you can to get whatever you want and whatever you need. People are gonna not believe in you until you do it anyway. So use whatever method makes you comfortable without harming a lot of people.
Thanks.
Could be. Because at this point, bro, it is what it is, bro. You just got to figure it out. And as artists, people are often going to look at you like what you do is not legitimate, what you do is not real. It's something to be looked down on. But funny enough, art is what people need. Art is what everybody needs. See, everybody doesn't necessarily need that specific degree in whatever, for me. whatever it is. I mean, like you don't necessarily need that, or you might not always enjoy that. But everybody enjoys art. Everybody needs art. I don't care who you are and what you do. Some way, shape, or form, you need and you enjoy art. That's just the reality of the situation. And they're gonna look down on you because you make the thing that they need. Ironically enough, but tell them kiss your ass and do what you do. I wanted to say something else. You can tell them Frank stand open.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all I had to say about the tweet. I think that kind of went into a good. That was a good segue to go into things like that, man. You know, opinions, man. Aren't they something?
They are, man.
Aren't they something? It's cool. It's cool though. Like it's interesting to hear people's perspective and why they think what they think.
Facts. You know what? I'll give her credit because she started the conversation.
I mean, funny enough, as an artist, that's what we aim to do. It is better to be disliked than forgotten about. Whatever I do, oh no, for sure. Whatever I do,
That
I
is
rather
it's better to be disliked than forgotten.
yeah. Like I'd rather you dislike my art than forget about it.
Oh, okay.
You agree?
No, no,
Because
no,
you
no,
would
no.
rather watch
No,
a bad movie than a boring movie.
that's true, but then I immediately thought of extremes.
Oh, I mean, you mean
Like I immediately thought of like R. Kelly. Immediately.
I
See that,
like
but that's yeah.
I relax, relax. I mean,
It's case
we're not
by
going
case.
that far.
It's case by case.
But I like outside of the most extreme of the extremes, if I'm making art, for sure, I think it's better that you have a negative opinion than to not care about it at all.
Yep.
Because at least if you got a negative opinion, you can talk about it, and in a deviant way. R. Kelly hasn't dropped music in a very long time, and he stays extremely relevant.
Yeah.
Right? It's terrible, but that's the thing. As long as you have an opinion, you're gonna hold relevancy.
Yeah, I was. This is funny because have you seen the movie Home for Jesus, Save Your Soul, something like that?
No, I've seen
No, not have you seen it?
But yeah.
Okay, yeah, I watched the movie. And, you know, like my family, church family, but the dad's the elder, blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
So like, there's a conversation because about like whether the movie like sheds Christianity in a good light or not. And it's like, dude, nobody wants to watch a movie about a good pastor. I'm sorry. Like nobody wants to do that. Everything that happens in the church, the negative stories and that's everything in general.
Yeah.
Like people don't care about positivity. They don't.
Very true.
We care about negativity all the time. We as humans, we gravitate towards it. You famous on the internet, you gravitate towards negative comments. It could be 1,000,002 positive comments. The one negative comment, you'll be fixated on that. So yeah,
very true. I mean, that's kind of how we started the podcast. And I was like, bro, we gotta uplift the things that we say we want.
Facts.
If not, we just gonna be sitting there complaining about the shit that we hate, and those things will only get more and more popular. Like, and you know, we deserve some accountability for that, man. We deserve some accountability for sure because we look at people doing terrible things, and what do? Retweet and say our opinion.
Quote tweet.
Repost it. All of these things.
Oh, yeah.
And we just give it so much publicity, but we don't have the same energy. We do not keep the same energy when it comes to things that we be asking for. I mean, like that's just not what it is, and that's why we have all these stupid fucking opinions about stupid ass topics. Like, bro, no funny shit. If whatever you want in your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your partner, whatever the case may be, those things should be highlighted. Like this is like a different conversation, but it's like the idea of like you get no praise for doing the bare minimum. It depends on what you mean by that. Because I do think we need to reinforce good behavior, right? So like when it comes to art, we also need to reinforce that like in real life. So if you wanted to see good relationships, we need a depiction of that, right? Like the last video I'm writing a treatment for me, love me on the way. Like there will be like it is based on like relationship and stuff like that. There will be a relationship in the video, and that's like the main narrative. But like we don't have to see people cheating or being abused
Yo, bro.
for it to be a conflict. Like we can show conflict, and that's what people want, right? People want the drama and they want the conflict. You can show conflict, but at the same time, we can demonstrate a healthy way of overcoming the conflict. And that way, you get what you want because you saw the conflict. But at the same time, for me, after that, for me, maybe you want to turn off the video, maybe you keep watching it. But after that, we can see that there is a healthy way to get past things, bro. Like,
and there's other issues relationships go through than just cheating. I'm so tired of it.
Every movie, every music
Such
video, every tweet,
bro.
every post, it's every all the media. It's just cheating relationship. That is what is wrong with this, bro. There's mad issues, bro, like that. There's mad issues that we need to show. There's mad stories that we can tell. That's not just the basics. And you know, some of that is like, oh, do people care? I think people care more than we kind of give them credit to. I think like we have to give them what they like. We need to like show them that they care about something, right? Because if you're not introduced to it, then you won't really know if you care or not. So when people are like, oh, that's just what people care about. I think part of it is also people being lazy.
Yeah.
They haven't been presented things. Because that idea is like when you go like it's the same idea as like giving up on a little kid, right, in elementary school. It's like, oh, they don't care about learning. Well, if you introduce it to them in a way that they would care about, I'm sure they would go into it. You know what I mean? Like I didn't know that I was into movies before I was introduced to it. How could you? I didn't know I was into music before I was introduced to it. How could you? Right? I didn't know that I was into different types of movies, different types of foods, or any of these topics you don't know until you're introduced to it. So people just be like, oh, nah, bro, you know, people don't care about it. They just care about the bullshit. And it's like, sure, but like you also have to introduce people to new things in order to see what they actually care about. Like, yes, I know that. So I mean, I know that it is a very easy thing to just care about the drama, but like that doesn't mean that that's the only thing you care about, and that doesn't mean that there's not space for other things. So don't be lazy and just be like, whatever people care about. Nah, for strong arm your way and force your way in there. Like that's what you gotta do, bro. I ain't even gonna lie, bro. Don't take no for an answer unless we talk about consent. Hey, I gotta make sure, feel me? Make sure be clear, bro. Nobody take my words, feel me? Yeah, nah, you feel me? When we speak about this art, nigga, I'm not asking forgiveness. I mean, I'm not asking permission. I'll ask forgiveness. Take this art, nigga. Fuck is you?
All right, man. That was good.
That's raps. So this has been the This Is Why We Work podcast, episode 1. Good looking for sticking around, man. Like, comment, subscribe, message, comment again. All of those things
on our socials too.
Yes, sir. We're gonna put all of that there, man. Give some critique. What do you think could be done better? Say if you hating, say you hating, right? Say why you hating, but put in a little parentheses and be like, oh, I'm hating.
Tell us no. Art should be all rainbows and pots of gold. Then,
hey, man. Let's start a discussion. I will respond if you actually provide me with something.
Oh, 100%.
I'll have these conversations.
Bro, I could talk about this all day.
Like, yeah, it's like, I mean, we could do that, man. Shout out to the audience, man. Shout out interactions. Appreciate y'all for coming along this ride, man. Thanks. We have been great. You know. Yes, sir.
All right.
That's raps.